You don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate white?
Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about black people? Whether he did or not, or she did or not. Even the inquiry comes from a position of being in the center.
And being used to being in the center.
And being used to being in the center. And saying, you know, is it ever possible that you will enter the mainstream? It's inconceivable that where I already am is the mainstream.
They looked at just 12 southern states between 1877 to 1950. Turns out there were 3,959 victims of what they call racial terror lynchings.
My name is Mrs. Fannie Lou Hamer. It was the 31st of August in 1962 that 18 of us traveled 26 miles to the county courthouse in Indianola to try to register to become first-class citizens.
I don't know what most white people in this country feel, but I can only conclude what they feel from the state of their institutions. I don't know if white Christians hate Negroes or not, but I know that we have a Christian church which is white and a Christian church which is black. I know, as Malcolm X once put it, that the most segregated hour in American life is high noon on Sunday. That says a great deal for me about a Christian nation. It means that I can't afford to trust most white Christians and certainly cannot trust the Christian church. I don't know whether the labor unions and their bosses really hate me. That doesn't matter, but I know I'm not in their unions. I don't know if the real estate lobby has anything against black people, but I know the real estate lobbies keep me in the ghetto. I don't know if the Board of Education hates black people, but I know the textbooks I give my children to read and the schools that we have to go to. Now, this is the evidence. You want me to make an act of faith, risking myself, my wife, my woman, my sister, my children, on some idealism which you assure me exists in America, which I have never seen.
They are not just gangs of kids anymore. They are often the kinds of kids that are called super predators.
Slavery was justified morally, biologically, theoretically, scientifically, everything else. And it seems to me that white America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma.
In my opinion, the young generation of whites, blacks, browns, whatever else there is, you're living at a time of extremism, a time of revolution, a time when there's got to be a change. People in power have misused it, and now there has to be a change, and a better world has to be built, and the only way it's going to be built is with extreme methods. And I, for one, will join in with anyone, don't care what color you are, as long as you want to change this miserable condition that exists on this earth.
What the gay rights ordinance in San Francisco, the main focus is to prevent the people who are already employed, who are gay, who, if they want to come out and break down the stereotypes, prevents them from being fired.
I am not calling the gentleman, Mr. Meadows, a racist for doing so. I'm saying that in itself, it is a racist act.
Is this the land of the free and the home of the brave? No. Is this a land with liberty and justice for all? No. Is this one nation, indivisible, under God? No. Either let us practice the democracy we are preaching, or shut up.
Well, there's no single, simple meaning of the term revolutionary. A revolutionary is a man or a woman who is a lot of things, but basically, the revolutionary wants to change the nature of society in a way to promote a world where the needs and interests of the people are responded to.
It doesn't take much to look on the local news every night and see how many black kids, black boys, black men are being killed with these stand-your-ground defenses that these people raise. Then they get off. I am a mother, too. And I have a son. And I care as much for my son as y'all care for y'all's. But my son doesn't walk the same path as yours does.
FBI Director J. Edgar Hoover today asserted that the Black Panthers represent the greatest internal threat to the nation.
Every incident that have been tipped off in this country in the last 2 years up north have been tipped off by uniformed police. Now, I'm not saying the police is right or wrong. I'm saying when you have these incidents that's tipped off with this one symbol, then we should look into it and see what it is. When 22 million people, be they black or white, start hollering police brutality, then it's time to start listening to 22 million people and going in. A lot of people say, well, it's not police brutality. Police brutality is not when a cop necessarily knocks me upside the head. It's when a cop calls me nigger when he's making the arrest. It's when he handles me wrongly in every process of processing the arrest. This is a form of police brutality.
America's not unique in its sins as a country. We're not unique in our evils. I think where we may be singular is our refusal to acknowledge them and the legends and myths we tell about our inherent, goodness to hide and cover and conceal so that we can maintain a kind of willful ignorance that protects our innocence. I've had the privilege of growing up in a tradition that didn't believe in the myths and the legends because we had to bear the brunt of them.
Republicans in February blocked Senator Bernie Sanders' bill to provide $21 billion in medical and other benefits for veterans.
When our men and women come home from war, some wounded in body, some wounded in spirit, I don't want to hear people telling me it's too expensive to take care of those wounded veterans. I don't accept that. If you think it's too expensive to take care of veterans, don't send them to war.
Back in 1998, a black man, James Byrd Jr., accepted a ride from 3 white men. Instead of taking him home, they drove him down a remote Jasper County road, beat him and dragged him for 3 miles behind their pickup truck.
I am, I think, quite disgusted, really, to be honest, that as Muslim legislators, we are constantly being asked to waste our time speaking to issues that other people are not asked to speak to, because the assumption exists is that we somehow support and are for, right? There is an assumption. So I want to make sure that the next time someone is in an audience and is looking at me and Rashida and Abdul and Sam, that they ask us the proper questions that they will probably ask any member of Congress.
I think the only thing that's really changed is the black woman.
If I love you, I can't lie to you.
Of course you can lie to me, and you will. If you love me and you're going off with Maddie someplace, you're lying to me. Because what the hell do I care about the truth? I care if you're there. What Billie Holiday say, hush now, don't explain.
All right, I accept that.
Of course you'll lie to me, because I don't even want to care. What does the truth matter? And why are you going to be truthful with me when you lie to everybody else? You lied when you smiled at that cracker down the job, right? Lie to me, smile. Treat me the same way you would treat him.
I can't treat you the way I
must.
treat him.
You must. Because I've caught the frowns and the anger. He's happy with you. Of course he doesn't know you're unhappy. You grin at him all day long. You come home and I catch hell. Because I love you, I get least of you. I get the very minimum. And I'm saying, fake it with me. Is that too much of the black woman to ask of the black man? For 10 years, so that we can get a child on his feet that says, yeah, father smiled at mother. He talked to me about school today.
How many bales of cotton have you picked? How many beatings have you taken? He couldn't say nothing.
Earlier today, we heard the beginning of the preamble to the Constitution of the United States. We the people. It's a very eloquent beginning. But when that document was completed on the 17th of September in 1787, I was not included in that we the people. I felt somehow for many years that George Washington and Alexander Hamilton just left me out by mistake. But through the process of amendment, interpretation, and court decision, I have finally been included in we the people.
A boy last week, he was 16 in San Francisco, told me on television. Thank God we got him to talk. Maybe somebody will start to listen. He said, I got no country, I've got no flag. Now he's only 16 years old. And I couldn't say you do. I don't have any evidence to prove that he does. They were tearing down his house. We're talking about human beings. There's not such a thing as a monolithic wall or, some abstraction called the Negro problem. These Negro boys and girls who at 16 and 17 don't believe the country means anything that it says and don't feel they have any place here on the basis of the performance of the entire country.
Well, now, Jim...
No, am I exaggerating?
No, I certainly could not say that you're exaggerating.
My name is Legacy Garner, the daughter of Drew Miller and my dad, Eric Garner. No justice, no peace.
You don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate white lives into them substantially?
I have done.
In a substantial way?
You can't understand how powerfully racist that question is, can you? Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about black people?
All right. Now you can hear me. What's happening? What's up? What's up with it? It's Ty. Today is Monday. We're here in the section. It's hot as hell. Oh man, it's hot. It rained here in New York, but it's been hot. I couldn't even sleep last night. My cat threw up this morning. Twin threw up this morning. He was sick. I was like, my main thing is trying to keep him from getting it because, I got to go back and forth to the store. So every time before I do anything, as soon as I walk in, I make sure I wash my hands and really just make sure I wash my hands to make sure that I don't touch him before, make sure that I'm clean before I touch him because he won't be able to fight. And I kind of feel like when I first got him, he may have got a whiff of it because he got sick like the day after. The first day after we got him, he got sick. Hold on. Come here. Let him see your face. There he is. So say what's up. Say what's up. Say brr, brr. That's how he purr or he meow. He go brr, 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 brr. But yeah, he got sick the first day. So he came back to health. I was kind of worried and I had to go out of town. And so my friend Isabel took care of him. She actually got him for me for my birthday. And he got back to health. So now I'm just making sure that, that don't happen again. So I'm always washing my hands. But it's been so hot, even with like it raining. Like right now I'm burning up, even though I know I'm in front of lights. Just open that just a little bit because it's killing me right now. How you guys doing? We are at day 1500 on the coronavirus thing. You know what I'm saying? In addition to doing what I'm doing, I also want to do a video like of how do I say it? Like a video of just something regular, because I don't know. I feel like it's not a lot to do. I'm here all day, and I'm doing some edits, and I'm trying to stop, twin, stop it. He's trying to grab the cord. So I'm trying to do, I'm doing edits and things like that, but you can go stir crazy. You can be like, man, F it, I'm going outside. Who here? But you know what? You can say F it and go outside. You're going to be by yourself because ain't nobody outside really. So ain't nobody tripping. I tried to come over to the house. Nigga, what you mean come to the house? You got that Rona. So, oh, and by the way, a shout out to Jordan Sheridan. People that follow him know, I'm sure y'all know, but he found out that he tested positive for the corona. He's healing now. He's doing good, but just want to give him a shout out. Tell him praying for him, love him, and all that type of stuff. So he's battling the coronavirus right now. If you don't know who Jordan is the founder and CEO of Status Quo. Status Quo, so a company that I assisted
when they started, I was a part of the beginning, assisting them in starting the company, getting it off the ground and things like that. So special shout out to Jordan. Hopefully he heals well. I think he will. Yeah, let's get into it. It's a lot of people. I'm trying to see what my live is. See if anybody I can shout out that's on the live with me right quick. Who on the live one time? Anybody on the live? No? Who on the live? Let me go on IG, see who on the live. Let's see. Okay, so it's me. We'll get some people on here, though. But anyway, it's a couple things I want to talk about. As you guys know, if you don't know, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, follow us, like us, share the page. You know, the only way that we're going to grow is by everyone sharing, letting their friends know about us, letting their mama know about us, letting their granny know about us. I even try not to curse, you know, for the grandmas in the audience and stuff like that. So, you know, yeah, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And hopefully, and as we grow, we'll begin to do more crowd. I think I'm gonna have to start being more diligent about my crowd interaction and what I'm doing to interact with the crowd. And I mean the audience. I'm talking about like referring to the people that watch, that are watching live. Is what I'm gonna do is start to consolidate the comments, because I'm going live on multiple channels right now: Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, and IG. And I got a makeshift little rig for IG so that people on IG can see me. IG only do an hour, then afterwards you have to restart it. But that being said, let's get into it. Shout out to my auntie. Hopefully she watching right now. She got all the critiques, you know what I'm saying? Why are you talking? Why you talking about the cat? Why are you talking about, you know, all that stuff? She wanted this to be CNN. It ain't CNN. But we're gonna still get it together. Shout out to everybody on YouTube. But as we know today, I don't know if you guys know, Joe Biden has endorsed, Bernie Sanders has endorsed Joe Biden. I got a text message from a friend today. She asked me how I felt that one. She hit me on IG. She was like, "How do you feel about that?" And I mean, my hold on. I want to see something. Maybe we can. Mic check. I'm just turning it down a little bit, just so I won't have so much feedback. How I feel about it? Hey, I'm gonna text you exactly what I wrote to her, so you can see how I feel about it, because it is what it is. Got a text message from a friend today. She asked me how I. All right, just making sure that all the sound is right. Am I surprised that Bernie Sanders endorsed Joe Biden? No, he said it the entire time. He said, "I'm going to endorse Joe Biden. I feel that Trump is the worst thing that could happen to this country. He's an existential threat." So we went in there knowing that had nothing to do with nothing, though. No one went in thinking that he was going to lose, right? We all went in thinking that he was going to win. So, you know, we all knew that. So I'm not surprised. I think projected winner Wisconsin. Oh man, this is what MSNBC just. I don't know if you guys can see it. It just tweeted. It says, I know it's a little too bright. Bernie Sanders has won Wisconsin. You know, they had the primaries there last week, where Joe Biden didn't. He wanted people to still vote even though the coronavirus was going on. So, you know, how do I feel about? Let me get my. I feel like, you know. Hold on 1 second. I hope my cat's straight though, cause he chilling. He don't normally be chilling like this. Oh, hopefully he ain't sick. I don't think he ate much today. He threw up twice, and this is the first time he threw up since he was sick. So I'm just hoping he okay. But now he chilling. Normally he getting into stuff. I gotta tell him to be quiet. He chilling right up under my feet. So that low key got me a little nervous, but I don't know. He'll be all right. He was playing earlier, so we'll see. Hopefully he good. I just wanted to get this because I ain't drinking right now. I need some type of stimulant. I'm a drug addict. People that don't know me, I'm joking. This is tobacco, nicotine. But anyway, what I read to her, this is what I read to her on IG. She hit me up on IG. Friend of mine from LA. She actually used to live right across the street from me before I left. She hit me up and she said, damn, I didn't even hear a response. I'm just reading. She said, how do you feel about Bernie bagging Biden? I said, he has always said that he would, so I'm not surprised. I don't like it at all, but I'm not surprised. People that are for Bernie, like Bernie supporters, I don't feel will vote for Biden. We may have another 4 years of Trump. We may have another 4 years of Trump. I hope we do not have another 4 years of Trump. But I hope we don't. Okay, I hope we don't, meaning having another 4 years of Trump. But the DNC said that Biden was the most electable candidate, so they need to get him elected. That burden doesn't fall on Bernie supporters or progressives. It falls under the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. They must lay in the bed that they made. What do you think? And what does she think? I think Biden, in their opinion, is the most sellable candidate, even though both are white-haired white men. Biden, as a package, is deemed more presentable, I guess. I personally like Biden. I personally don't like Biden. I'm sorry. I don't want to get that mixed up. If y'all don't know, I'm dyslexic, so I read slow. I always get embarrassed when I read because I read like slow because my words be twisted up. So I personally don't like Biden, and I'm actually a registered libertarian. Okay. Got to talk about that. But have always been a Bernie's fan. I agree that the DNC is doing their best efforts now to lay in the bed they made, but first they gotta outfit it with plush sheets and pretty bedding. I can see another horrible, painful 4 years of Trump, but dear God, I hope not. In the last 2 out of 4 presidential elections, I have voted Libertarian, but this time I won't, mostly because I sadly think I'll just be a vote for Red. Sorry, I got kind of long-winded there. No. I think that's good. And you know what? I tell everyone that, and mind you, for me personally, in my head, I'll go back and forth. But I have every time I come back to like what I stand for and what matters to me. And even in saying that, because I'm a very empathetic person, and I look at what another presidency of Trump may mean to like a dreamer, or may mean to an immigrant. You know, this is a burden I don't have to bear. And what I mean by that, like, this is something that I don't have to actively think about because I'm neither. And when I think about that, it gives me pause, because that's probably the only thing that even when I say, you know, I'm voting, I'm not voting for Biden. I'll write Bernie in or vote for a third party. But, you know, we do have down ballots. So please don't misunderstand me. You need to go vote. There's down ballot votes that matter. We have Congress. We have local elections. We have state elections. Those things matter. If we want the right president in, we have to get the right people that's surrounding him in, because if not, the president will just be a president that won't get shit passed because he won't have the right people to pass the legislation that's needed. You don't want to have 8 years of executive orders that can leave at any time. So that's the thing that gives me pause when I think about it. Anytime I think about it, it's you know, because I have friends that's Latino. I have friends that are immigrants as well, that have papers and don't have papers. One of my best friends, Robert, I remember he got his stuff together now, but he hadn't when we went to Puerto Rico, and they like kept him for like an hour at the airport, and it just scared the hell out of me. And so, and I stayed there and waited because I was about to call everybody I knew too, because I had never. The last time I experienced that was when Trump did the ban, the Middle Eastern ban, where he didn't allow certain people to come from countries, and I had to protest that. So that was the only time I experienced that. But I guess because something wasn't updated, he said it happens to him a lot. So for him, it wasn't an issue, but I had never seen it, and so I didn't have that information prior, so it bothered me. But outside of that, though, you know, understanding like my privilege in that regard, understanding that, you know, I'm not Hispanic, I'm not a DACA representative, a recipient. Thinking about how they feel, because I don't think it's. I wouldn't think, maybe for some people, whether you DACA recipient or you're an immigrant, are as hard as I am, and be like, you know what? I'd rather take that risk than to have a neoliberal in the office that continues to lie and we don't move forward. But you have a lot of them that sit in anxiety all day and all night. I've interviewed them, and I've been to the detention centers where they've been held, and what that does to their families. So in that regard, I wonder, like, how selfish am I being? You know what I mean? Because to me, I always feel like presidencies have never, even Obama has never worked for black people. I think black people has never been a part of anyone's agenda. And black people have always been at the bottom of the bottom. So it's a whole lot of people that got to go through hell before black people are affected, because we're at the bottom. We've been in hell since hell started. So to affect our natural, our normal way of living in this country, you have to do a whole lot, because we at the bottom digging dirt. Shit has been fucked up for us, and it ain't always gonna be messed up, but it's been messed up for us. So it's a lot that has to happen to adjust our way of living. You know what I'm saying? To adjust us in a major way that we haven't dealt with throughout. Now, we want things to change, of course. I'm not saying that things can't change, but we don't people are tired of moderation. So, you know, but anyway, that's my only reservation. Just to let you guys know, I have this chair right here because I have a shoulder issue, so my shoulder hurts a lot. So if it like hangs like this, it'll start hurting. But that's my only reservation, and that really has to be, you know, Alex. Honestly, my friend Alex, we've been going back and forth. He was talking about how dangerous it is to have him another 4 years. Yeah, I'm sure for a lot of liberal white moderates, it's very dangerous because he interrupts their entire way of living, for real. But he didn't mention this, but he had me thinking mainly just like mainly I was thinking of how selfish it was. Like he's, because I think the only people that's interrupted really like we've been fighting and we're gonna keep fighting. When Bush, Obama, now Trump, we've been fighting for the same thing. Clinton, we're gonna still keep fighting for the same thing. Things haven't shifted. It hasn't worked out for black people, period. But so when he was talking about, I'm like, yeah, their way of living, and I love him to death. He's a good friend of mine, but he's a white guy and he's middle class, and I'm sure that a lot of the people that I know. I mean, I took him to Compton one time. I took him to where I lived, and I showed him how it was all knocked down. Like none of that. My entire childhood is like it's gone. It was built. It was a project. It was built on a oil plant, gas plant, and they tore it down. So I can't even go back to Eugene Village and see. Oh, hey, tell my son. You see right there on 126. I was right there. See that apartment right there, that little town. That's where we grew up. We grew up right here. It's just the park, Willowbrook, or Magic Johnson Park, and So I was like, he just, he only seeing it from his point of view. But as I started to think about it, DACA recipients started to get into my head, and immigrants started to form. I've worked with a lot of them, and I remember when Trump, how affected they were when Trump was first elected, and how the anxiety that built up in that, and them feeling like they couldn't, whether it's, I have Latino and Asian immigrants, both that I work with, and anxiety that built up from them because of that. So that part is really it's making me think, and my compassion and my empathy, because I know what it feels like to feel like you're alone in the boat trying to fight against, a power that you can't win. And outside of slavery, civil rights, and things like segregation, I can't see any other position that's kind of parallel. We're talking about removing you from a place that that you've only known, to some foreign place. Because it doesn't matter if you're from Mexico or some part of Asia. If you ain't never been there, you ain't from there, you from here. And if somebody just throw you back there, like, what, I'm all of a sudden in this country that I have my entire family's there, I can never go back. That's a scary reality and a scary possibility that a lot of people that I love have to face. And that matters to me. So, that makes me just think about it. Doesn't mean I'm not going to. My rhetoric and what I'm talking about is real, and I really feel it. But I'm just talking about my personal stance. I still, I feel, and this is just where I am right now. I'm not saying that I'm voting for. I still don't want to vote for him. I'm still struggling with that. But what I am saying though is that I'm starting to see, in one section, a bigger picture, because I don't think he sets any threat for anyone. And I'm talking about a new threat. Like I said, black people have been dealing with the same stuff they're going to be dealing with until we get someone like Bernie in who cares. Not some black representative for the white elite or this Americas that really don't care. Because you go to Chicago, we was in Chicago right now, they said the majority of their representatives are black. And all they are is puppets for these white agendas that go on. They don't do anything for the communities, nothing. Mind you, this is not the new mayor. This is a couple years ago before she was in office. I don't know what's going on now. But I tell you, 2 years ago, when we were out there, another kid had got shot by a police officer when I was with Status Quo. This is what we heard. And it's true, Just because they look like you don't mean they for you. They get a little power, and they, like what the guy that I showed y'all the other day talked about, like proximity to power ain't power, period. You got black people that's in office that's close to power, that feel comfortable. So they don't want to shake the boat. They don't want to move the boat because they're right close to the power. They're sitting right here, so it's all good. So Jim Clyburn can say vote because his kids is doing well. His kids is making it. So he could say because Joe knows us. Not Joe has a plan. Not this is his platform, and these are some policies that will help us. Joe knows us. If that ain't the most Samuel L. Jackson character into Django type of S I've ever heard, that's how I feel about it. And I had some respect for him when I did, but he know nothing. You have no expectation for him, just that he's your friend. I ain't gonna get into that. Okay, so the title. Hey, y'all, remember, go ahead and like, hit the like button, share this page, subscribe, like, hit the notification bell, share it. Let your mama know, let your friends know, let your granny know. And, yeah, we're trying to do this. We're trying to grow. So now, let's get into it. Now, so the title of this is The Information War, Trump versus the DNC. I should have put the distrust. I should have put and the distrust of media and the Democratic role in it. The distrust of media and the Democratic role in it. This and I feel like this is where Democrats are going to fail. Is because Democrats fail to recognize that it's not only Republicans or Trump supporters that distrust the media. The majority of everybody outside of people that are MSNBC loyalists, CNN loyalists, and Fox loyalists. Everyone else, why do you think places like Alex Jones and the Young Turks, and I'm not saying Alex Jones as if he's a credible third party for news, but what I am saying is the reason that a person like that can thrive, you know what I'm saying? The reason that Joe Rogan, The Hill, like these outlets, the reason Status Quo, the reason that they can thrive is because people distrust the media. They see that the media isn't fair. They aren't balanced. They have an agenda. Half the time it seems as if they're playing a part in someone's campaign. And so they're going out looking for, so as much as you want to blame anybody for conspiracy theories and stuff like that, you should blame yourself for being untruthful. And that's another reason why I think, it's definitely in the same lane as Trump, but I think Bernie Sanders should have went after the media as well, because they do lie. Look at all the coverage they did on him. He wanted to be liked so much. If he would have, what is a revolution? Anybody? Tell me what a revolution is. It's going against the status quo. You know what happened in Libya when they had a revolution? They killed Gaddafi. They killed him. They didn't say, oh, well, Gaddafi's my friend. I'm just like, man, I'm tired of my kids being shot for protesting. Gaddafi got killed. And obviously, just to be clear, I'm not promoting anything like that of killing anyone. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, who's the enemy? Who are you going against? Who are you for? Then you need to ride that. If they don't feel a threat, why do they need to shift? Why do they need to do anything? In 2016, they felt a threat. That's why you saw the entire Democratic Party shift to the left. The entire Democratic Party shift to the left. Obviously, you saw it in 2020. He had Hillary. Hillary was talking about maybe $12, but when the campaign first started, she was at 16 before Bernie dropped out. She was talking about all of a sudden in 2020, you got talking about Medicare for all. You pushed her all the way to the left. And then, which in turn pushed the entire Democratic Party to the left. Like I said, initially, when the campaigns first started coming out with their candidacy and started running, everyone was for Medicare for all. Obviously, it wasn't in their heart and they didn't mean it, so they started to shift as things went on. But everyone was for Medicare for all, a living wage of $15 over a period of time, just like Bernie Sanders said, over a period of time. And if y'all don't believe that, I can show you a video right now. Over a period of time, period. And look, I'm going in because my aunt was trying to I don't know if y'all know my aunt is like my mother, but she was trying to tell me the other day that he didn't say over a period of time. And he definitely said over a period of time. That over a period of time, $15 an hour over a period of time. But, you know, my aunt told me that I'm not believable, that she needs to, I can't just say stuff. I have to show her that this is real. So since I got to show her that it's real, let's go. Bernie Sanders, minimum wage over a period of time, 15. I wanted to see if she happens to be watching. Let's see if she happens to be watching this. Hold on. I'm gonna try to get. I need to get it earlier. See, because you don't want to have it. You know, recently. I'm like listening to it to see. Yeah. Over the next 3 years, hold on. This is good enough. I saw a video the other day that was more, he said, over a period of time. But this one, he says, over the next 2 years, just in case my auntie is watching, because she says I'm not credible. So, let's see.
And what we are hearing from the American people is that those workers out there who are trying to get by on $9 or $10 an hour, what they are telling us is they can't get by on $9 or $10 an hour. You can't raise a family, you can't pay your own bills and survive on $9 or $10 an hour. So when we think outside of the box, when we think outside of status quo thinking, recognize that a federal minimum wage today of $7.25 an hour is a starvation minimum wage. And that is why together we're going to raise the minimum wage to a living wage, $15 an hour over the next few years.
Over the next few years is what he said. Now this is March. Look at the bottom, March 4th, 2016. So this is why he's running. He pushed Hillary. She don't think that he pushed Hillary to that. He think that she somehow already was there, which is just not the truth. But anyway, so what are we getting into? Biden endorses Bernie endorses Biden today, and we all knew that. How I feel about it is how I feel about it. You know, I don't like it, but it obviously makes sense. And you know, let's look at this endorsement, and we're going to talk about where the neoliberal party has to go from here, because I think they have a ways to go as far as, you know, because I look at it like this. If you want, I think it's pretty simple. If you want support from progressives, if you want support from Bernie diehards, people that are saying, like, I'm not in this category at all, but you got Bernie people saying, I'm gonna vote for Trump. People are upset. And y'all can be as mad as y'all want to be mad about it, but wasn't nobody saying nothing when all those women went and voted for McCain when Hillary Clinton lost. Ain't nobody bringing that up. But, you know, I'm against that anyway. I don't even want to act like I'm for that. But if you want to win over Bernie supporters, change your policies. That's all you got to do. That's all you got to do. If you want the support and you feel that we earn the support, how can I earn the support? Change your policies. That's all you got to do. If you are really wanting to get the support of Bernie Sanders supporter, his diehards, the people that love him, that says never Biden, that want to vote for the Green Party, change your policies. Start off with Medicare for all. That'll be good. Not changing Medicaid to 60. And Hillary in 2016 wanted to change it to 50. You're on the right of Hillary Clinton? You want to change it to 60, to age 60? You to the right of Hillary. You want to change it to the age of 60 instead of 50? I mean, obviously that's not good at all. But that's all you have to do, really. That's how you got the people that you got, right? It was your policy, I'm hoping. No, it probably wasn't. For the majority of the people, they didn't care about your policy. Only thing they wanted was Trump out. So you kind of just, you're a freak of history, really. That's what you are. You're like a freak of history. Because there are no qualifications for you. Period. None. We just want Trump out. You just happen to be the one. Ain't God real? Well, let's look at this endorsement, and then we can get into it. Lord.
Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden is discussing the economic implications of COVID-19. Let's listen in.
We can't just think about building back to the way things were before. We need to build better for the future. Many of the biggest cracks in our social safety net have been laid bare by this crisis. From health care to paid sick leave to the shortcomings of our unemployment.
Let's just say he's sounding a little different right now, which, you know what? I don't, if he was somebody else, if it was a different time, I'd be like, that's what I want to hear. But I ain't trying to, your words don't matter to me. If you want to get my confidence, hire some of the people that was a part of Bernie's administration. You need progressives in it. Anyway, let's finish.
Employment system. And we need to build a 21st century safety net that takes care of all of our citizens in times of crisis. And I mean all of our citizens. Yes, in all times, not just in crisis. You know, we're going to need to address rebuilding our nation's infrastructure. We're going to need to shore up our democracy. We all have to know the clock is ticking. We don't have a moment to waste in combating the climate crisis. It's existential threat to us. In short, we need to build a fair, more inclusive, more resilient America. And with that in mind, I'd like to welcome to this conversation a leader who shares those values and has been an outspoken advocate for that vision for a long time. My friend, Senator Bernie Sanders. Bernie, welcome.
Joe, thank you very much for your remarks, and thank you for welcoming me to your live stream here. As you've indicated, we are living in an unbelievably unprecedented moment. You and I were chatting a few months ago. Not in a million years would we have believed that we would be talking to each other in our respective homes, that we could not, do rallies, that we could not get out of the house. We would not have believed that we'd be looking not only at a pandemic, which, as you indicated, has taken over 20,000 lives in our country, 500,000 people infected, but has cost us 16 million jobs, and that's probably a conservative number. The real number is probably higher than that. So we are in a terrible moment, an unprecedented moment, and I know we share the understanding that we've got to go forward right now and out of this in an unprecedented way to address the terrible pain that so many of our fellow Americans are feeling. So today I am asking all Americans, I'm asking every Democrat, I'm asking every independent, I'm asking a lot of Republicans to come together in this campaign to support your candidacy, which I endorse.
Oh, you see that that response as if they didn't talk about this before? See, this little stuff like this, maybe I'm being petty, maybe I'm being whatever, but like little stuff like this, like he didn't know that was coming.
And
just acting.
I know we share the understanding that we've got to go forward right now and out of this in an unprecedented way to address the terrible pain that so many of our fellow Americans are feeling. So today I am asking all Americans, I'm asking every Democrat, I'm asking every independent, I'm asking a lot of Republicans to come together in this campaign to support your candidacy, which I endorse.
Lord help me.
To make certain that we defeat somebody who I believe, and I'm speaking just for myself now, is the most dangerous president in the modern history of this country. A president, and you made this point, who downplayed this pandemic, who ignored the advice that some of his people were giving him, who has not used the Defense Production Act early on so that we could produce the masks, the gowns, the gloves, the ventilators that our medical personnel desperately need, who today, because I understand that is threatening to fire Dr. Fauci, who has been an unbelievable, who has been day after day the voice of science.
What's up, Marilyn Monroe?
To the American people, trying to explain how we go forward in this crisis, and he's threatening to fire him. So to me,
let's just go back to the beginning because
things were before.
I need y'all to hear what he's saying.
We need to
now.
build better for the future. Many of the biggest cracks in our social safety net have been laid bare by this crisis.
Many of the biggest cracks have been exposed and laid bare by this epidemic. Got it?
From health care to paid sick leave to the shortcomings of our unemployment system.
From health care to paid sick leave to the shortcomings of our unemployment system.
And we need to build a 21st century safety net that takes care of all of our citizens in times of crisis. And I mean all of our citizens.
Bam, we can stop right there. That will take care of all our citizens in a time of crisis. I mean all of our citizens. Like I said before, if it wasn't Joe Biden, he would have my vote. But Joe has a history. But outside of that, let's talk about that. Because I think that's one of the things that I've been thinking about, I've been dealing with, and it's really been heavy on my mind is the security of all citizens. Like right now, we have this epidemic and we're all going through it. So in this moment, we're all, what's up, JY, Jaspy Free? What's up, whoever that is on IG. Let's think about that right there. Because I've been thinking about this. Now, we're all going through this epidemic, coronavirus. We're all in the house. We all been laid off. I've been laid off. A lot of people I know been laid off. A lot of Americans have been laid off. Over 10 million people have filed for unemployment. Gypsy, for sure. What's up? So think about us being in this position, right? And we also right now, because we're in it, we all have this empathy towards what's going on because we give a fuck because we're involved. It's a part of our lives right now. Like we are the ones that need it. We all collectively. So it's not just them over there or them over there, you know, that person over there. It's us. So because of that, we have empathy. And I think it's a great opportunity. This is a great learning experience. And what he said right then, which gives me pause because of who he is that can't be rhetoric, because that right there means a lot to me. And I think it means a lot to progressives as well. Having a security net for all. Now, mind you, he just said about 3 weeks ago, if Medicare for all went past, and like I said, my aunt likes to think that I just be spewing things and I don't, I guess I'll be making up stuff. So for her sake, I'm going to show you the video where he says he will veto Medicare for all. Biden will veto Medicare for all. Now, mind you, he could have had his people take this off. You know, they do that. They had their people raid the internet, and you know you can hire people to search this entire internet and take down videos. If you got the money to take down videos when you say something that PolitiFact, take down videos that are unbecoming to your new views or views that may hurt or help your campaign. Now right now I'm not seeing it. I'm not seeing the video. The video's here. We just gotta find it. Let's find this video. Where is this video at? Okay, here it is right here. We got it for y'all. Just so I can see. This is all just for my aunt because she thinks I'll be on that BS. Oh, could not be played. Oh, okay, here we go.
Sanders is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for all through the Senate. Other candidates, this kind of question, veto question. Let's flash forward. Your president, Bernie Sanders, is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for all through the Senate in some compromised version, the Elizabeth Warren version or other version. Nancy Pelosi gets a version of it through the House of Representatives. It comes to your desk. Do you veto it?
I would veto anything that delays providing the security and the certainty of health care being available now. If they got that through and by some miracle, and there was an epiphany that occurred, and some miracle occurred that said, okay, it's passed, then you got to look at the cost. I want to know, how did they find the $35 trillion? What is that doing? Is it going to significantly raise taxes on the middle class, which it will? What's going to happen? Look, my opposition isn't to the principle that you should have Medicare. I mean, everybody, health care should be a right in America. My opposition relates to whether or not, A, it's doable, two, what the cost is, and what the consequences for the rest of the budget are. How are you going to find $35 trillion over the next 10 years without having profound impacts on everything from taxes for middle class and working class people, as well as the impact on the rest of the budget?
What is going to happen to rally? President Bernie Sanders is still active in the Senate. He manages to get Medicare for all through the Senate in some compromised version, the Elizabeth Warren version or other version. Nancy Pelosi gets a version of it through the House of Representatives. It comes to your desk. Do you veto it?
I would veto anything that delays providing the security and the certainty of health care being available now.
Republican
If
talking
they got
point.
that.
So that's all really that matters. Everything else is Republican talking points. Now, this is March 9th, right? This has been a little over a month ago. We're in the dead. If you saw the bottom of the screen, it said Medicare for all and the coronavirus. So we're in the coronavirus at this time, and this is what Joe Biden feels about Medicare for all. Now, to be fair, that sounds different than this.
Bear by this crisis. From health care to paid sick leave to the shortcomings of our unemployment. Let's think about building back to the way things were before. We need to build better for the future. Many of the biggest cracks in our social safety net have been laid bare by this crisis. From health care to paid sick leave to the shortcomings of our unemployment system. And we need to build a 21st century safety net that takes care of all of our citizens in times of crisis. And I mean all of our citizens. Yes, in all times, not just in crisis. You know, we're going to need to address.
And okay, now we can agree that those are two conflicting things, mind you. March 9th, and this is what gives me pause, because March 9th, we're in the coronavirus. We're in it. We're going through it. Cuomo is on the TV every morning in New York. We're going through it. And he says, I will veto it. Now, it's changed. Now, granted, everyone changes. You know, things happen. You know, people grow. So a lot of times it's circumstances that provoke you to change. We get it. You start to see what the bigger picture is. But I haven't known Biden to look at the big picture. I've known Biden to say things that will benefit his political career, his political aspirations, ambitions. That's what I've known. So my cynicism is built on his ability to lie about almost everything. And just to give you a view of it, because I don't want you to think I'm just saying this and this is coming from somewhere. So I just want you to see this little video right here and let me know. We'll get into it. There's nothing that you can say in reference to Biden that he's done to address any black issues, period, in his history, period.
Bobby Rush, member of Congress, said the other day, I'm ashamed that I voted for the 94 crime bill. You ashamed of that bill?
Not at all. And in fact, I drafted the bill.
Ew.
You said you were arrested when you were with Mandela. I don't think so.
Joe Biden has recently been telling voters that he was once arrested trying to see Nelson Mandela.
Nelson Mandela walked out of prison and entered into discussions about apartheid. I had the great honor of meeting him. I had the great honor of being arrested with our UN ambassador on the streets of Soweto trying to get to see him on Robbins Island.
I came back from South Africa trying to see Nelson Mandela and getting arrested.
You say that you were trained to be a protester and suffered. We don't think so.
Like many of you, I participated in sit-ins to desegregate the restaurants and movie houses.
When I was a teenager in Delaware, for real, I got involved in the civil rights movement.
And the New York Times reports, quote, more than once, advisors had gently reminded Mr. Biden of the problem with this formulation. He had not actually marched during the civil rights movement.
When I marched in the civil rights movement, I marched with tens of thousands of others to change attitudes.
But he never actually marched in the civil rights movement at all.
Will pay any price, bear any burden, accept any challenge, and meet any hardship
to secure the blessings of prosperity.
We shall pay any price, bear any burden, meet any hardship, support any friend, oppose any foe to assure the survival and the success of liberty.
I did not know that was a Robert Kennedy quote.
The thing about Joe Biden, though, when he gaffes, because we all know he does, you never believe he's lying.
Goddamn pickaninny. So that's why I have pause. That's why I don't believe it. I hope it. And I think the only way that I will have confidence is if he start putting people that's a part of the progressive movement, that's a part of Bernie Sanders' campaign, inside his administration, making them a part of his campaign. They are talking about now, I think, starting some, I don't want to say it's like the unity thing that the Democrats did back in 2017 after the Unity Commission that the Democrats did to bring together the moderates and the progressives in 2017. They're saying this is for legislation. This is to add policy. They I guess they've agreed on this, when they being Biden's and Bernie's campaigns. So we'll see. But historically speaking, I don't trust it at all. So like I said before, if you want to win progressives, if you want to win Bernie Sanders supporters, change your policy. Because when you change your policy, you know what that says? That says what you say matter. I'm not just looking at you as some little kid as, oh, that was cute, that was sweet. Now sit back and let the grown-ups handle it. Oh, what you're saying is unrealistic. Because when he just said that he would veto it and was using those Republican talking points about, oh, well, the budget, where you going to get the $32 trillion from? You know how easy we got this this stimulus plan? Mind you, it's $2.2 to $6 trillion. Like this, we passed the bill. No one said, where is it going to come from? How are we going to deal with it? What are we going to do? No, we felt that the people needed it and they did it. So Medicare for all can definitely happen. Free college, all this stuff it just depends on what they want to do. It's all about what they want to do. What they want to do is matters. Hold on. My bad. What they want to do matters. That's what matters. What matters is what they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And that is dictated by their donors. That's why you need to get money out of politics. Because the more people that donate these big amounts of money, these corporations that donate these big amount of money to these campaigns, guess what? You don't think they're going to have a say? You don't think they're going to be like, no, we ain't doing that part. Period. I guarantee if they're a Medicare for all lobbyists and they have money, everyone will be for Medicare for all, period. If y'all don't remember, when the campaign first started, they was having those town halls on CNN, and Kamala Harris said directly, if having Medicare for all means counseling private insurance, let's counsel it. We've had that for a while anyway. Let's go this way. She said it. Next day, she got checked by her people and then wrote an op-ed saying, oh, well, this is what I meant. Because they wasn't going for it. And it wasn't in her heart, obviously. So she can easily, change her mind because it's not who she is. She stands for nothing. When you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. You know what I'm saying? We don't have no ground. When you're not 10 toes and riding for what you believe in, you have no standing, and you'll waver anyway that's politically beneficial to you. It's never about the people for you. It's never about your constituents. It's about what you feel is good for your constituents, which is dictated by what's good for you. So easy way to settle that. If you want progressive support progressive policies. That's how you do it. That's simple. You don't need to argue that. You don't need to talk back on that. You don't need to go back and forth with nobody. Change your policies, period. That's how you can get Bernie Sanders. And Biden has an issue, y'all. Biden has a huge issue with young voters. And if you think, mind you, they talked about that young voter coalition and they didn't come out. And that's true. They didn't come out really for Bernie like they should have. But don't get it twisted as if he doesn't need to energize them. And he doesn't need to have their support. Twin. Stop it, twin. Stop it. He be getting into everything, y'all. Stop it. So in 2008, I just to show y'all how influential the young vote is, the 18 to 34 vote is. Just give y'all some history. In 2008, this is 2008, young voters in 2008 election. In the last three general elections, 2004, 2006, and 2008, young voters have given the Democratic Party a majority of their votes, And for all three cycles, they have been the party's most supportive age group. This year, 66 of the under 30 voter for Barack Obama, making the disparity between young voters and other age groups larger, making the disparity larger than in any other presidential election. So let's look at it. I'm going to blow this up a little bit so y'all can see it, if y'all can't see it. Look at this. 2008, 66%. That's a little over two-thirds. We could just say that's two-thirds. That is two-thirds. Two-thirds of the young vote Barack got, which put him over the edge. Voted way more, all voters. 66% of all voters were 18 to 29, that under 30 group. Think about that. In 2008, Obama had 66% of the vote. He won. How the millennial vote elections work. This is in 2016. Hillary had 50%. You guys can see. While many expected the low favorable ratings of the two candidates and the divisiveness of this election year to keep young voters home, 2016 saw similar rates of young adults turnout as 2012. On election day, Hillary Clinton won the youth vote 55%, while Trump only garnered the support of 37% of millennial electorate. Comparatively, in 2012, young adults voted for Barack Obama over Mitt Romney by 60% to 37%. So 2016, Hillary has 55% of the young vote, and she lost. Where's Biden? I have a graphic for that. Joe Biden, his favorability for those young voters from 18 to 34, 30%. 30%. 30% is lower than the 37% that Trump had in 2016. It's lower than the 37% that Trump had in 2016. Biden has a problem. Biden has a serious problem. And if he don't take into consideration what I'm saying, what maybe Bernie Sanders' campaign is saying, what progressives are saying, you need to change your policies. We will definitely. Now, think about this. Hillary Clinton had 55% of the young vote turnout. And she lost. Taking that into consideration, the same amount of voters came out in 2012 that came out in 2016. So she had that same amount. That's what they just said. She had 55% and they lost. And she lost. So that 18 to 29-year-old vote matters. Now, you can sit and act like it don't and just tell us to shut up and be quiet. But as you can see, as you saw the other day when Bernie dropped out, how everything Dems exit, all that was trending on Twitter because they're not just going to fold. A lot of them you're not going to be able to get. It's just going to be a lot of them you're not going to be able to get. I would have, like I mentioned earlier, I'm kind of on the fence now. I wasn't on the fence before, but I'm kind of on the fence now thinking about friends of mine that are DACA recipients and friends of mine that are immigrants that don't have papers and that sit with that anxiety. That affects me, and it's a real thing. So, in my vote, I'm in New York. I'll be voting the absentee vote for Los Angeles, for California, so my vote don't matter, but it matters in principle because I wouldn't vote like a protest vote, so to speak, like, oh, because it doesn't matter, I'm gonna vote this way. But if I was somewhere where it did matter, I'm gonna vote that way. Nah, I'm going one way. If I'm not voting, if I was in a swing state like Wisconsin, I would do what I'm gonna do. Period. Because if you don't feel like my vote is good enough to win, then I should just give you my vote. Then I'm going to feel like I'm going to just give my vote to whoever I want to give my vote to. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like it doesn't need to be earned, and y'all remember, as we going forward, go ahead and hit the subscribe button, follow me, like the page, hit the notification bell so you can see when we're cracking. What's going on, Connor? How you feeling, player? He said, what is that? Which will make, what are you saying? Which will make us love them even more, haha. And of course, when they lose, they're gonna blame us. You know what? Hey, Connor, on everything, I wrote this on the tweet the other day. I want them to blame us. I want to be the blame. If I do something, I want you to know that because of what you did, we did this. So then that'll hopefully show them, probably not, they didn't see it in 2016, the influence that we have as progressives. No, blame me. For sure, blame me. I'm not running away from that. And I don't think any progressive should run away from the fact that they're going to blame us. You should blame us. Blame us and let us know that we matter. What we're talking about matters. Please blame us. I want to be that. I want to be the reason why you didn't get this electable candidate into office, because progressives then fall in line. Please give me that. I want that. Hopefully you will know next time. You the one said he was electable, so elect him, period. It ain't, like I said, the burden ain't on us. It's on them. They hyped him up. Get him across the finish line, player, period. That's what you should do. You know what I'm saying? You feel me, Connor? Right, me too, man. Yeah, for sure. That's what I'm saying. They need to know that they can't do it without us. Exactly. Just like that video I put the other day that Lawrence O'Donnell said, which I bet you Lawrence O'Donnell was like, damn, I wish I didn't say that, because you got all these progressives now using this stuff against me, and I can't do nothing. I can't do nothing. They using all this against me. I'm gonna show y'all what Lawrence O'Donnell said, that we keep tweeting, that we keep retweeting, and then y'all see it.
If you want to pull
the party, the major party that is closest to the way you're thinking, to what you're thinking. You must show them that you're capable of not voting for them.
Because the way the Democratic Party is run now for quite a number of presidential cycles is they pick a nominee in a kind of half-assed process that doesn't really represent much of anybody, and then they tell everybody to just shut up. Don't bring up anything that will complicate life for your nominee. You know he's not for you on this. Why badger him? He's not going to be for you for reasons that you don't understand but are good reasons. Shut up. Turn off your brains.
If you don't show them you're capable of not voting for them, they don't have to listen to you. I promise you that. I worked within the Democratic Party. I didn't listen or have to listen to anything on the left while I was working in the Democratic Party because the left had nowhere to go.
The left had nowhere to go. And, that's how they play. And, hey, to keep it 100, it's politics. They look at it as a game. That's what they're supposed to do, right? You can't be mad at them for doing what they're supposed to do. Bernie didn't do what he was supposed to do. They did what they were supposed to do. They coalesced and they went against them, and they won. And that's it. You know what I'm saying? It's a game. You're supposed to play the game. Bernie didn't play the game. They played the game. So since we know that, we need to stand our ground. You know what I'm saying? Use that Florida law. Stand your ground. Stand your ground and be like, it is what it is. Mind you, like I said before, what'd you say, Connor? I just don't know what to say to people when they're all, it's about the Supreme Court. Hey, bro, it is about the Supreme Court, and the Democrats should have thought about that when they voted for when they pushed Biden down our throats. They should have thought about that. They wasn't thinking about it. They were thinking about their own selfish needs and wants. They weren't thinking about the person that was really the most electable. That's really what I say. Don't tell me about that. Tell them. They didn't want to push them in. If it's about it. They had a long time. The most people ever in the history of this country have paid attention to primaries. Normally, we just get two candidates that we got to vote for, lesser of two evils. So many people were paying attention. Now, y'all still did what y'all did, right? What y'all was supposed to do. Y'all, that's y'all game. Y'all do that. But y'all didn't care about the Supreme Court. Y'all cared about your own comfortability and getting somebody that you knew. Because honestly, Connor, to keep it 100, Doug, I think what they're gonna do is try to at the end, maybe not, because I think that's gonna blow up. That's gonna blow up. But what I was gonna say is, they've been on Cuomo. Really, they probably try to introduce Cuomo at the convention, and use those super delegates. That's what they can do. Have it contested and use those super delegates to push Cuomo in there. But that'll be a losing battle. Guarantee. You think people don't trust the media now and trust the Democratic Party now? And you do that? I doubt if they're that stupid, Connor, but they could. You know what I'm saying? But who knows? What's up? What's up, Rich? What's up, Richard? I just found out Rich is right down the street from me, man. We gotta link up. That's my boy from LA. We went to the same church. He didn't go to Africa. You didn't go to Africa with us, but this dude has an amazing story. I may have you on the show, bro, Rich, to talk about your story, man. I think it's amazing. I got a couple homeboys. One of my homeboys just got out of jail. He did 22 years. I'm gonna have him on the show too. Just trying to build it up. So like I said, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, so we can get some more people up here, some more people watching. But yeah, man, that's what I would say, Connor. You know what I mean? Don't press me and then put something down my throat and then try to guilt trip me and voter shame me by saying, oh, it's about the Supreme Court. Yeah, it's about the Supreme Court when you push this unelectable candidate in our face and said, this is who you're going to vote for. You know what I mean? You wasn't worried about that, so don't be worried about it now. Somebody asked you that, Connor, you tell them they should talk to the Democratic Party because they're the ones that pushed it. Period. And if they think that he's not going to get pressed, if they think that Trump is not going to press him on the sexual assault allegations against Tyra Reid, on all his past, I don't care what Trump has done. Trump ain't never cared about what he did. Remember when the same week that recording came out about him saying grab him by the pussy, when they had that debate, what did he do? Double down and brought 5 of Bill Clinton's accusers right before the debate out and said, this is what he did to them. This is what Hillary did to them. Trump don't care nothing. His history, who he is, Trump lives in his own world. If you ain't seen this by now, he runs to his own beat. And he's going to, no one vetted, everyone was scared to vet Biden about his history. They barely did, and then they went against it when they endorsed him. Initially, Cory Booker and Kamala Harris said, talked about, his stance on bus desegregation, on the crime bill that he wrote, and on him endorsing like these segregationist governors back in the day. They pressed him on that, but then after that, they all endorsed him. So he ain't really been vetted. You don't think Trump is going to go in? Did y'all not see the press conference today? The propaganda video that he put out? We're going to talk about that too, because this whole thing is about, yeah, Connor, we may be fucked, bro. We may be fucked 4 more years. I hope not. I'm telling you, I hope not, but they got to earn the vote. You got a lot of people upset because they feel like they've been cheated. They don't understand, like, the Democrats don't look at this as, oh, we're for the people. They look at this as, this is our gang, this is our side, and this is what we rolling with. And if you ain't, you're going to fall off. And we're going to come together. And that's what they did. They came together to go against Bernie, and they won. And they won. That's what they were supposed to do. People got scared. If you don't think, that's what I said. Biden is a freak of history. He just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Who thought we would be in the house right now with coronavirus? You got 78% of all 3 Super Tuesdays that we had. They call it like the second Super Tuesday, they call it like Super Tuesday 2.0 when it was in Michigan, and then the third Super Tuesday. But the first one, and all the ones after, they said that 78% of the bigger states said that 78% of the voters said that their vote was had the coronavirus as a part of the reason who they were voting for. You know what I'm saying? Like the coronavirus was dictating who they were going to vote for. And if you're in a pandemic and you don't know what's going on and you see people dying every day in the hundreds and in the thousands now, anyone would be like, okay, I've seen him in office before. Let's just get him. He's safe. I don't know what's going to happen. I lost my job. Everybody lost our job. They get panicked and they just go with the safe bet. And that's what, and that in addition with everyone coalescing to him, everything just worked out for it to, like, him being here and it to work out for him. Biden lost 2 presidential campaigns that he had to get out of. This is his 3rd time. He didn't lose for no reason because he never has anything. He never has a platform. He's lazy. He's not curious, period. And he panders. So he's a freak. He's a freak of history. He just so happened to be in the right place at the right time. And all these circumstances worked in his favor. Is that to say that it's going to work for his favor in the general election? Who knows? Because this is now it's about perception. That's what this whole thing is about. Now it's about media, because it ain't about the truth. The truth don't matter no more. It's about the perception of what people feel truth is. Because the only people that trust the media is people that watch MSNBC. They trust MSNBC. People that watch CNN trust CNN. People that watch Fox trust Fox. You got a plethora of the country that don't trust media at all. Not just Trump supporters, progressives and everything. Like I said, how do you think the Young Turks was able to do what they do? How do you think Status Quo was able to do what he do? How do you think Jimmy Dore was able to do what he do? Even Alex Jones able to do what he do? Joe Rogan. I mean, he's not politics, but he has a lot of political figures on his show. What's the Jewish guy's name? I can't think of. Shapiro. How do you think they're able to do it? The Hill. How do you think? Because there's so many people that do not trust the media. Let's talk about it. And first off, before we get into it, because we're going to talk about the trust of the media, but I want to show you how this is the battle you're going to be going against. I don't know if you guys saw Trump's address, his task force meeting today, but he came up with this really propaganda video about what he's been doing. Now, if you guys don't remember how he was downplaying the coronavirus up until this point, we're going to remind y'all a little bit, and then we're going to go into his video. I'm going to just show you one video. I think this is a better video that kind of lays out what he's been doing. This is Kalisa. He's a guy that's on Kalisa. He's a reporter. He's always on CNN, but I like these little videos that he do. So this is talking about, this is Trump, and I'm gonna show you this because I want to show you this against the video that him on his bully pulpit. Mind you, you have Fox supporters, you have MSNBC supporters, you have CNN supporters, and then everyone in between, right? That watch this faithfully, and this is who they quote unquote trust. All different sections, right? Then you have the president who gets everyone's ear, who has the bully pulpit, who can lie, who can propagandize and do all these things. Because right now it's about, this is a war of information right now. To the White House, it's a war of information. Who's going to be able to get the most information out? And we always know that Trump knows how to do that. And who's going to be able to, with that information, influence the most voters? So let's look at this video, and then we're going to contrast with what he did today, because what he did today was amazing.
No grocery stores have powdered sugar anymore. I get toilet paper hoarding, but powdered sugar? Come on, people. Vice President Mike Pence has spent some decent chunk of the past 3+ years defending Donald Trump's indefensible statements. What the president meant and what the president was getting at are key phrases of the Pence vocabulary. See, Trump isn't really bullying and boorish. He's frank and a straight shooter or something. Now, Pence does this for a simple reason. He would like to be president, and being on Trump's good side is the only way that happens. And the only way to consistently stay on Trump's good side is to relentlessly defend him from any and all criticism. It's basically math. Which brings me to Pence's most recent defense of Trump over, yes, you guessed it, the coronavirus. So in an interview with CNN's Wolf Blitzer in late March, Pence sought to defend Trump's past statements downplaying the coronavirus, suggesting that the president was simply projecting hope and optimism, and at no time had Trump, in Pence's word, belittled the virus. Watch this.
I don't believe the president has ever belittled the threat of the coronavirus.
Yeah. As a favor to Mike Pence, this is a public service to all of you, I decided it might be worth taking a stroll down memory lane of all the times Donald Trump literally belittled the coronavirus and the threat it posed to America over these past few months. Step into my time machine, won't you? It's just behind that door. Trust me, it's entirely safe. Won't hurt a bit. Number one.
We have it totally under control. It's one person coming in from China, and we have it under control. It's going to be just fine.
That's Trump way back on January 22nd, the first time he was asked publicly about the coronavirus. It was in a sit-down with CNBC's Joe Kernan at, of all places, the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland. Now, what's amazing about the interview is not just Trump downplaying the virus as a threat, but also how, when questioned by Kernan about whether China was being transparent enough about the coronavirus, Trump replied like this, quote, I do. I have a great relationship with President Xi. We just signed probably the biggest deal ever made. By late March, Trump had totally reversed course on China, insisting the country was to blame for making the virus worse in the United States due to a fundamental lack of transparency. Number 2.
We pretty much shut it down coming in from China.
Okay, so this one came in the start of February in an interview between Donald Trump and Fox News' Sean Hannity. Trump then and now was touting his decision to close down travel from China as effectively stopping the virus cold. A little over 2 months after this interview, coronavirus had sickened more than 337,000 Americans and killed more than 9,600. Number 3, the coronavirus is very much under control in the USA. We are in contact with everyone in all relevant countries. CDC and World Health have been working hard and very smart. Stock market starting to look very good to me. This Trump tweet came on February 24th. On that day, the Dow Jones Industrial Average closed just under 29,000. Exactly 1 month later, it closed under 21,000. It has since rebounded somewhat to around 22,000. Number 4.
We're going down, not up. We have it so well under control. I mean, we really have done a very good job.
Trump said this on February 26th at the Coronavirus Task Force Daily Press Briefing. At that point, there were 60 confirmed coronavirus cases in the U.S., the vast majority of which, 42, were passengers aboard the Diamond Princess, you remember that ship. Now, since that time, the number of corona cases in America has increased roughly 5,000-fold. Number 5.
It's a little like the regular flu that we have flu shots for. And we'll essentially have a flu shot for this in a fairly quick manner.
So Trump spent much of February and even well into March drawing the flu comparison as a way to suggest the media was overreacting to the threat coronavirus posed. This has never been true for lots and lots of reasons. Let's go through them. Coronavirus is more easily transmissible than the flu. It's more deadly than the flu. We have no vaccine or shot for coronavirus like we do the flu. And because coronavirus is a new disease to humans, we also lack any sort of herd immunity like we have from the flu. Number 6.
Going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. And from our shores, it could get worse before it gets better. It could maybe go away. We'll see what happens. Nobody really knows.
So that was Trump on February 27th. 2-ish weeks later, March 16th, he issued guidance that there should be no gatherings of 10 or more people and that people needed to practice social distancing. He extended all of those guidelines on April 1st through the end of this month. Number 7, no, I'm not concerned at all. No, I'm not. No, we've done a great job. This was Trump's response on March 8th when asked whether he was concerned that the virus was getting closer to Washington, D.C., and in particular, the White House. It was part of a press availability with Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro at Mar-a-Lago in Florida. Now, 4 days after Trump said this, a Bolsonaro press aide who had been with both presidents at Mar-a-Lago tested positive for coronavirus. Number 8. So last year, 37,000 Americans died from the common flu. It averages between 27,000 and 70,000 per year. Nothing is shut down, life and the economy go on. At this moment, there are 546 confirmed cases of coronavirus with 22 deaths. Think about that! This tweet from Trump on March 9th is, for my money, his worst statement on coronavirus. All of the flu comparisons are wrong for all of the reasons I noted above. A week after he sent this tweet, the White House issued guidelines urging Americans to avoid coming within 6 feet of each other. 2 weeks after he sent this tweet, the Dow Jones dropped under 19,000. Think about that. Number 9.
It's a very contagious virus. It's incredible, but it's something that we have tremendous control of.
Trump said that on March 15th, when roughly 6 people in the United States had died from coronavirus. Despite having the virus under tremendous control, deaths have risen by 16,000% since Trump made that remark. Number 10.
I don't believe you need 40,000 or 30,000 ventilators. You go into major hospitals sometimes, they'll have 2 ventilators, and now all of a sudden they're saying, can we order 30,000 ventilators?
This one comes from another Hannity-Trump interview, this one on March 27th, and it features the President of the United States suggesting that governors and hospitals in hard-hit areas like New York are purposely exaggerating their medical needs to keep coronavirus patients alive. Yeah.
So, you guys get that an idea of where the things that he said and how he lied. And let's go to this. I think this all will lead up to the video, because I want you to understand what I'm getting at. I want you to understand what the DNC is up against, what they're really, really up against. It's one thing to not be president and be running for president in 2016 and dominating the media. There's another thing to be president and running against president. and dominating the entire media landscape. Here is his influence on Fox News.
I can report the sky is absolutely falling. We are all doomed. The end is near. The apocalypse is imminent, and you're going to all die. Or at least that's what the media mob would like you to think.
Yeah, I'm dead right on this. The coronavirus is the common cold, folks. The hype of this thing as a pandemic, as the Andromeda strain, as, oh my God, if you get it, you're dead.
This is one of those cases where the more I learn about coronavirus, the less concerned I am. There's a lot of hyperbole.
The national left-wing media playing up fears of the coronavirus.
The sky is falling because we have a few dozen cases of coronavirus on a cruise ship. I am far more concerned with stepping on a used heroin needle than I am getting the coronavirus, but maybe that's just me.
It's a virus, like the flu. All the talk about coronavirus being so much more deadly doesn't reflect reality.
This virus should be compared to the flu because at worst case scenario, it could be the flu.
The far more deadly, more lethal threat right now is not the coronavirus. It's the ordinary old flu. People are dying right now. Nobody has died yet in the United States, as far as we know, from this disease. That's right.
And the facts are actually pretty reassuring, but you never know it watching all this stuff.
You want to know how I really feel about the coronavirus, Juan? If I get it, I'll beat it. I'm not afraid of the coronavirus, and no one else should be that afraid either.
It is very, very difficult to contract this virus.
It's milder than we thought. The fatality rate is going to drop.
So when you hear the context, it's not quite as scary.
It's actually the safest time to fly. Everyone I know that's flying right now, terminals are pretty much dead. And then the planes, remember back in the day when you had a seat next to you possibly empty, you could stretch out a little more? It's like that on every flight now.
One of the things you can do if you're healthy, you and your family, it's a great time to just go out, go to a local restaurant.
Yeah.
Likely you can get in easily.
Republican Congressman Matt Gaetz mocked concerns about the spread of the virus by wearing a gas mask on Capitol Hill.
When a reporter in the Capitol asked Senator James Inhofe of Oklahoma, 85, what precautions he was taking, he extended his arm with confidence. Want to shake hands?
In our line of work, you shake hands. I expect the president will continue to do that. I'll continue to do it.
We have contained this. I won't say airtight, but pretty close to airtight.
It is being contained. And do you not think it's being contained?
0 people in the United States of America have died from the coronavirus. 0.
This is a flu. This is like a flu. It's going to disappear. One day it's like a miracle. It will disappear. I felt it was a pandemic long before it was called a pandemic. I took it very seriously.
By the way, this program has always taken the coronavirus seriously.
Don't be confused just because it's on the Daily Show. This is all true. All quotes. Those are the things that they were sponsoring, supporting, and saying. So, I wanted to give you that context because it's going to help you as we look at this video that he did today. And this is propaganda. This is how scary it is because it starts to show you how when you're in his position, he understands media, got to give him that. He knows how to use it. And imagine him being the president because once he can call any type of press conference and everyone's coming and it's going on every channel. And this is a video, and I guarantee this video is going to be out. You're going to be seeing this more. Based on everything you just saw, now look at this video. He's right now he's responding to an article by the New York Times that he's upset about, and it's called "He Could Have Seen What Was Coming Behind Trump's Failure to the Virus." So right now he's upset. I'm gonna read a little bit of this after the video, but right now he's upset at this article that came out going against him, saying that he should have done more. He should have been. Y'all didn't even see the article, huh? My bad. Here you go, the article right here. So the article, it says that he could have seen what was coming behind Trump's failure on the virus. And so, like I said, I'll read this in a little bit after we watch this video. And so right now, Trump is responding to this article. Obviously, y'all know he doesn't like the New York Times until they write something good about him. So check this out, and then we'll see. We'll talk about it.
That the Democrats and the media called xenophobic. Now, Joe Biden said he's a racist. Called me a racist because I said we're shutting down entry from China. We're shutting it down. He called me xenophobic, and he called me a racist and other things. Since then, on a Friday night 2 weeks ago, Joe Biden issued a statement. It wasn't him. He didn't write it. I'm sure he doesn't even know that it was issued. But the people from his campaign, who are smart, people that write his little PR releases are pretty smart, reasonably good, not the best, but they're not bad. But they issued a statement saying that Joe Biden agrees that that President Trump was right to close it down to China. Now, he did that. Now, he issued it on a Friday night. We've all heard about that, John, Friday nights, right? In fact, his was later Friday night than I ever released mine on Friday nights, okay? So he did it pretty late. I mean, like at 11 o'clock in the evening or something. It's pretty late. Anyway, so Joe Biden issued, and it's one of those things. But in February, Nancy Pelosi said we should come to Chinatown. This is late February. Come to Chinatown. We think it's very safe. Come here. Let's all have the big parade, Chinatown parade, probably referring to San Francisco.
He's going on a little rant.
And that's it. But I took this action early. And so the story in the New York Times was a total fake. It's a fake newspaper, and they write fake stories. And someday, hopefully in 5 years when I'm not here, those papers are all going out of business because nobody's going to want to read them. But now they like them because they write about me. Now, with that, I have a couple of we have a few clips that we're just going to put up. We could turn the lights a little bit lower. I think you'll find them interesting. And then we'll answer some questions. I'll ask you some questions.
Think about what I just showed you.
Because you're so guilty, but forget it. But most importantly, we're going to get back onto the reason we're here, which is the success we're having. Okay? Please, you could put it on. Thank you.
People should be more concerned right now with the flu in this country.
A lot of people are concerned about the coronavirus because they're hearing a lot of news about it right now. But the reality is, comparing it to the flu, for example, it's not even close to being at that stage.
What if it is worse? Is this a moment where maybe countries put politics aside, a little bit of pride aside, and do we have U.S. officials, should U.S. professionals such as yourself get involved?
How worried should Americans be about coronavirus?
Coronavirus is not going to cause a major issue in the United States.
Well, we've asked them to accelerate whatever they're doing in terms of a vaccine. We will be suspending all travel from Europe to the United States for the next 30 days. To unleash the full power of the federal government in this effort today, I am officially declaring a national emergency. Medicare patients can now visit any doctor by phone or video conference at no additional cost.
The first 1 million masks will be available immediately.
As there were more cases, and it was clear that it was spreading out of China, where it originated. The president took this move that he was widely criticized for by Democrats and even some Republicans at the time, which was he halted a number of flights from China into the U.S. The idea was to halt the spread of the disease, keep transmissions to a minimum. He was accused of xenophobia. He was accused of making a racist move. At the end of the day, it was probably effective because it did actually take a pretty aggressive measure against the spread of the virus.
His team is on it. They've been responsive late at night, early in the morning, and they've thus far been doing everything that they can do, and I want to say thank you. And I want to say that I appreciate it.
He returns calls. He reaches out. He's been proactive. We got that Mercy ship down here in Los Angeles. That was directly because he sent it down here. 2,000 medical units came to the state of California, these FMS, these field medical stations. And that's been very, very helpful.
The president has been outstanding through all this. The vice president's been outstanding. Members of the coronavirus task force, very responsive.
We had asked if we could have, New Jersey could have access to a piece of the beds that are on the USNS Comfort, and the president came back, called me a short few minutes before I walked in here to say indeed they would grant that to New Jersey. So that's a big step for us in addition to all the other capacity. That news is literally hot off the press, and I thank the president and vice president who are on the call together.
President Trump approved Arizona's request for a presidential major disaster declaration. I want to thank the president for a quick turnaround. We requested this on a Wednesday, and we had approval by Saturday morning. And we are grateful to the administration for their continued support and responsiveness.
Well, first of all, I want to thank the president and the vice president for doing a really good job of communicating with all the governors.
Look at this.
So we could give you hundreds of clips like that from governors, including Democratic, or Democrat as I call them, governors, which is actually the correct term. We could give you hundreds of clips just like that. We have them. We didn't want this to go on too long, but I just want to say it's, it's very sad when people write false stories like, in that case, I guess it was gotten mostly from the New York Times, which is a highly, if you had libel laws, they would have been out of business even before they'll end up going out of business. So
that's where he is now. Whether that seems trivial, that seemed petty, it seemed like he just boosting himself up. This is very important because any truth that he disagrees with now, he has the world's attention and can respond with videos like this to counter it. Because there's a lot of people in this world that's not watching the news like I'm watching the news, not watching the news like you're watching the news, that's getting the highlights, that are now watching his press conferences because they're worried about where they are economically and socially and everything else and health wise, and so they're watching it. Imagine every time somebody comes out with an article that's telling the truth, and we all know that they played it down, and he not only with his administration but also encouraged Fox News and other news outlets to say, "Oh, this is just the flu." And when he's confronted with that, he can put up this propaganda. And as you saw there was nothing. Even he had a clip. If you noticed, he had a clip of Fox News, Sean Hannity talking to Fauci, the guy that the scientist, the healthcare, the guy that's been in. I think it's Fauci. Disease and Control, part of CDC, and he was talking to him saying, "Oh, maybe that's the only clip he put of Hannity in there." Hannity giving Fauci advice saying maybe he should get involved. So if you have a person that now not only has all the resources he needs, but has the government behind him, and Fauci, because he's saving face, and I'm sure for the most part wants to make sure that everyone's healthy and is not productive to be going back and forth with the president. So the majority of the time he's just saying, "Oh yes, well, he puts himself into it. Well, I should have been doing this as well, XYZ." So you think about that. And now we're going into an election, general election, where you're going to have people bring up on the Democratic side, bring up how many people died and they did it because of this. And he's going to have this video and other clips showing, and he's going to be able to show it at any time. And it don't make sense for him to show it because he'll, in November, in October, he'll still be having these briefs, these things, because it's good for him politically. I mean, outside of him campaigning, maybe he'll be out campaigning once they open up the country again. He'll be out campaigning. And outside of that, he'll be in front showing videos, showing clips. I have this. My cat, something's wrong with my cat. My cat, I don't know what it is, but early in the mornings and sometimes throughout the day, he just starts sprinting back and forth like out of the blue for some reason. And it's the funniest thing because it just happens out of the blue. You can tell when it's about to happen. He'll start looking around quick and then he'll just sprint. And it always trips me out. It's like a spirit goes in him or something. You know how they say spirits in cats? But anyway, so he has this information. He can manipulate, manufacture consent. He can manufacture consent like no one else can in his position. And that's what he's been doing. And like I said, there's people that don't follow the entire story. So this is what New York Times wrote about him that he was frustrated about. And it says, he could have seen what was coming behind Trump's failure of the coronavirus. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but it says, an examination reveals the president was warned about the potential of the pandemic, but that internal divisions, lack of planning, and his faith in his own instincts led to a halt in response. And we all know that. A lot of people probably don't know that. Imagine how many people don't know that. I watch this every day. I know that back and forth. The fact that they had to write this article makes me believe that there's a lot of people that don't know this information that should be known. We all know. Washington, let me highlight this so y'all can see it. Washington, any way you cut it, this is going to be bad. A senior medical advisor of the Department of Veterans Affairs, Dr. Carter Mercer, wrote in the night of January 28th in an email to a group of public health experts scattered around the government and universities. The projected size of the outbreak already seems to be hard to believe. A week after the first coronavirus case had been identified in the United States, and 6 long weeks before President Trump finally took aggressive actions to confront the danger the nation was facing, a pandemic that is now forecast to take tens of thousands of American lives, Dr. Mercer was arguing the upper ranks of the nation's public health bureaucracy to wake up and prepare for the possibility of far more drastic action. You guys made fun of me screaming too close to schools. You guys made fun of me screaming to close the schools, he wrote to the group which called itself Red Dawn, an inside joke based on the 1984 movie about a band of Americans trying to save the country after a foreign invasion. Now I'm screaming, close the colleges and universities. His was hardly a lone voice. Throughout January, as Trump repeatedly played down the seriousness of the virus and focused on other issues, an array of figures inside the government, from the White House advisors to experts deep in the cabinet department and intelligence agencies, identified the threat, sounded alarms, and made clear the need for aggressive action. The president, was slow to absorb the scale of the risk and to act accordingly, focused instead on controlling the message, protecting gains in the economy, and batting away warnings from senior officials. It was a problem, he said, that had come out of nowhere and could not have been foreseen, which obviously we know isn't true. You guys can read the rest of this article. It's a pretty good article, but it goes into the conspiracies that he tried to talk about, the deep state, and how they were saying initially that it was the Democrats trying to do it for political reasons because it was an election year, yada, 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 yada. That got them pissed off. It only really got them pissed off because it's actually true. But the fact that they had to write this article lets me know that that a lot of the country don't know that. And not only that article leads me to believe that, but what also leads me to believe that is this polling. This is from Real Clear Politics, and this polling graph that shows where I'm just looking at my cat. He tripping. He got me nervous. Shit. That's showing where, if you guys can see this middle one right here, showing where Biden and Trump is for the White House right now. And it got more states. It's kind of swing states that matter. It has, and mind you, this is one poll. We have a list of polls. A lot of them, all of them have them winning by single digits. Mind you, at this time, they had Hillary Clinton winning by double digits in the 20s points. I'm talking about. At this time in 2000, once the general started, so around maybe July, August, it had her winning by double digits. So think about this. Oh, it did have her winning right now. Before even Trump went out, it had her winning these states by double digits. You got Florida, which is, you can think about what you want to think about with this, but it has Biden up by, 0.4 points. Not a point, but 0.4, probably half a point. But it has him up in Wisconsin, has Biden up in Pennsylvania, which those are all swing states. But so check this out. That's a pretty close margin in relation to where Hillary was with Trump at this same time in 2016. Mind you, this is the most electable. And these are all polls from different, CNN has Biden up by 11 points. That's probably the highest one. All of them are really single digits except, the Harris report. I don't know who is Harris. I don't know what report that is. Survey was conducted online within the United States between March 24th to 26th among 2,400 registered voters by the Harris poll. This results reflect a national representative sample. Ethnic, okay. What was the age range, though? Households, employee. Doesn't have an age range. Now, mind you, when they do polls, they have landlines. There's no young people with landlines. Mind you, when they do polls, they have landlines. There's no young people with landlines. And remember what we talked about earlier? Biden, 30% favorability. He has Trump beating him now with young voters, 18 to 34. And just to reiterate the contrast, in 2008, Obama had 66%. That's 2/3 of the young vote. Hillary, even though she lost, had 55%. 55% of the young vote. Oh, I ain't even showing y'all. Damn. So mind you, Obama had 66%. 2008, Obama had 66% of the young vote. That's the vote from 18 to 29, the under 30 vote. You had Hillary Clinton in 2016 had 55% of the young vote. I read this earlier, so that's why I'm going through it fast. 55% of the young vote. She still lost. Now you have Joe Biden with 30% of the young vote. Mind you, at this time in 2016, Donald Trump had 37% of the millennial electorate. That's the people that actually voted. So, hold on. You know what I have to do? I have to bring this thing closer to me next time. Let's see. We have this issue. 20%. Live on Instagram. Okay. So live. Thank you for watching. We ain't live no more? My bad, y'all. Man. So we gotta go live. One second. My bad. I had to change some stuff up because I'm also live on IG, but I have to do a little makeshift. Next time, I just need to have it closer to me. But y'all, as y'all see, that in 2008, Obama won 2/3 of the young vote. That's the vote. That's the voter age 18 to 29. And just making sure I'm live right now. Is it telling me I'm live? Should be live. It ain't telling me nothing. I was making sure I'm live, y'all. They trying to hate on me. It's not even saying I'm live. Anyway, I should be live. Okay, yeah, so it's saying, it just started. Okay, it's on there now. My bad. So in 2008, Obama had 2/3 of the young vote. Hillary Clinton had 55% of the young vote. That's over half. At that same time, Trump had 37% of the young vote, right? And you measure that up against right now with Biden having 30% of the young vote. He's favorable. I just say favorable. It's not a vote. It's favorability, which matters. So think about that and having to get people. And to his credit, there's going to be some people that's just going to vote for Biden. Like, a lot of people don't like him, but they're going to vote for him. So some of that 49% are still going to vote for him. So that we can just call that true. That's completely true, and we know that. So I ain't going to even try to play games as if you're not going to have some of that 49% still vote for Biden. But he got an uphill battle. He really has an uphill battle. And he has an uphill battle with the person that knows media, that control. That's what he's been doing is media. Think about media has been his outlet since even before the Central Park 5. Trump is the one to put out the article about Central Park 5. He's always used the media. That's why him and the Inquirer like this. When all that stuff happened when he first got into office, and you had the two owners of the Inquirer being had to speak to the FBI about stuff, and they had all these stories. They had these stories about Trump would get stories like about him. He would pay to get them like deaded. That's why they have that relationship. So he knows media. He knows how to use media. And he's going to press every issue. Biden hasn't been vetted enough to be running for president. A lot of his stuff hasn't came out yet, really. Think about all the campaigns that's happened up until this day. Nobody really knows. We was in Michigan. No one was talking about how he lied about saying that he was a part of the civil rights movement, that he marched in the civil rights. No one brought that up. No one brought up the fact that he was lying, saying that he was arrested with Nelson Mandela, do you not think Trump won't bring that up? Of course he will. He hasn't been vetted enough. And it's not the right time. It's good we got it all out there. Everybody knows. It was brought up in it, and they still voted for me. Versus, oh, we're going into a general election. And not even half the things. What people have been talking about is not even half the things that's in your history, bro. Your recent history. And they don't have to contend with. They really, I think the problem with the Democratic Party is that they feel that, just like Lawrence O'Donnell said, the left has nowhere to go and people are just going to vote. People hate Trump that much that they're just going to vote. They hate you as much. They feel like you control the media. Think about the majority of Bernie Sanders supporters felt that MSNBC, if not endorsing him, definitely, not like verbally endorsing him, definitely by way of media and how they treated Bernie Sanders, endorsed Biden. Like they were a part of his campaign. So they don't like the media as much as they distrust the media as much as Trump supporters. And they're going to be like, yep. When Trump starts talking about the media, they're going to be like, yep. They was lying about this. They didn't even talk to Tara Reid. You know what I'm saying? And my friend of mine, I need to read the article before I talk about it, but he said the article, I guess the New York Times mentioned something or brought something up about Tara Reid, but they didn't bring it up at all. And all this is going to come out. And he's going to have to, they will have to talk about it. They will have to confront it. What was it? The other thing I wanted to show y'all about the people. So you got a trust issue with the media. You have now 30%, 13%. Now this is the Gallup poll. This is what CNN uses. It's on here. I think the CNN used the Gallup poll. The CNN, or do they do their own polls, or do they have a Gallup? Do they use a Gallup poll? Studies conducted with CNN. This is our. The Gallup poll is another polling place that do a lot of different type of polling, and they're credible as well. I'm so eager to see what my cat is doing. I just hear noise. I know he in there messing up. I just hear noise. But the Gallup poll says Americans trust in mass media. Edge is down 41%. Now it says 13% trust the media a great deal, and 28% a fair amount. 69% of Democrats, 15% of Republicans, and 36% of independents trust the media. 36%. And I just want, I really want you to understand what this means. 68% of Democrats, 15% of Republicans, 36% of independents. And you would think that independents are the least amount of Americans. On the contrary, independents are the majority of voters. Right now, in March, and this is because the coronavirus is going on, you have a primary going on. And so you got a lot of people that independent that'll be like, okay, I'm gonna vote Democrat if they want to vote in the primary. If the independent's not running, you can't vote in the primary. So a lot of people. So right now you have 36% of the country is in politics as of today. Do you consider yourself Republican, Democrat, or independent? And this is from the same Gallup poll, party affiliation. You have 30% say that they're Republican. The majority, 33% 36% say that they're independent, and you have 30% that say that they are Democrats. But I would like to argue that this is not a true representation of who really is what they is. I would say like January, December, that's kind of before everything kind of goes into full effect as far as the primaries. I think this is more accurate to how it stands. So you have, let's say in January 16th to the 29th, 30% Republican, 42% independent, as you see, and 27% Democrats. You go to right at the beginning of January, 27% Republican, 45% independent, 27% Democrat. That's the nation. December, you have 28% Republican, 41% independent, 28% Democrat. So you had a majority of the country identifies as Democrat. If you look at throughout this entire, it goes throughout, this is all 2019. It goes throughout 2019. You can see there's a consistency with independents. Independents are the majority of the electorate. And contrary to popular belief, maybe I'm saying maybe it's the popular belief. You know, before I got into politics, I didn't know this. So people may not know, but I'll just say I didn't know. And so if you look at that, and you look at this poll that says 36% of independents do not trust the media. Trust the media. 36% trust the media. So that means 64% of independents, the largest electorate in our republic, do not trust the media. 15%, you got, so that's 85% of Republicans don't trust the media. And then you got 31% of Democrats don't trust the media. So are you telling me that when Trump get in front of that bully pulpit and everybody's looking at him and he say, fuck the media, they lying and they doing this, and I'm going to show you these clips, and this is what really going on. This is what Cuomo said. This is what he said. This is what that governor said. Once I knew, I acted. You can't believe the media because they was talking about sexual assault. They keep coming at me, but no one said anything about Biden. Who do you think the majority of people are going to believe? That you don't think that that's going to resonate? What Trump is going to start saying about the media is not going to resonate with the majority of the electorate in this country. Because it's right here. These are the statistics. Don't just be in your head. This is the statistics. The majority of Americans do not trust the media. And it's the media's fault. It's not Trump's fault. Trump may have exaggerated some, but the media lies. The media has an agenda. They're not fair and balanced. It's just the truth. MSNBC wanted Biden. That's all they talked about was Biden. They even had a clip where the guy was like, you know what, we have to check ourselves because, I mean, you had, who's the old boy that got fired from MSNBC for saying that when Bernie Sanders won Nevada, he said he akin it to the German invasion of France, the Nazi invasion of France. Speaking to a politician whose family was a part of the Holocaust, comparing his win in Nevada to the Nazi invasion of France. He got fired. Obviously, there's a lot of other reasons that Chris Matthews was fired. Is that Chris Matthews? I want to make sure I'm saying the right name. Yes, Chris Matthews. If people don't know who Chris Matthews is, when you say Chris Matthews, so let me show you a picture of Chris Matthews. That's Chris Matthews. Chris Matthews was fired. He had to apologize. I don't know if y'all knew that. My aunt has me paranoid, so I always feel like I have to, Chris Matthews apologized to Bernie. Oh, Chris Matthews. There you go. Just so you can know, because, you know,
my name is Julian, and I've been with AHF for 4 years now.
Just
we'll
want
get
you
your meds
to
out to you. That's regardless
know
of
this,
ability to pay or
this
travel
matters.
distance.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Tuesday. We have an amazing show for everybody today.
Indeed, we do. It's a debate.
Let me just go to the clip. This is the clip right here.
It snowed today in New Hampshire like it did here in 1968 when Eugene McCarthy trudged through the state to prove that Lyndon Johnson's days were numbered. I love it here. Have loved it since my parents took my brothers and me on those one.
That's not it. Let me see. Chris Matthews' apology. He announced his retirement. Where's his apology? Okay, let's just.
Debate day show, so we got lots of good stuff coming out of South Carolina. We
Apologized last night. Let's take a listen.
Before getting into tonight's news, I want to say something quite important and personal. As I watched the one-sided results of Saturday's Democratic caucus in Nevada, I reached for an historical analogy and used a bad one. I was wrong to refer to an event from the last days, or actually the first days of World War II. Senator Sanders, I'm sorry for comparing anything from that tragic era in which so many suffered, especially the Jewish people, to an electoral result in which you were the well-deserved winner. This is going to be a hard-fought, heated campaign of ideas. In the days and weeks and months ahead, I will strive to do a better job myself of elevating the political discussion. Congratulations, by the way, to you, Senator Sanders, and to your supporters on a tremendous win down in Nevada.
Well, I don't really know what what do you make of that? You used to work there.
Well, look, first of all, it was.
So, and then he retires 2 weeks later.
Let me start with my headline tonight. I'm retiring. This is the last hardball on MSNBC, and obviously, this isn't for lack of interest in politics. As you can tell, I've loved every minute of my 20 years as host of Hardball. Every morning I read the papers, and I'm gung-ho to get to work. Not many people have had this privilege. I love working with my producers and the discussions we have over how to report the news. And I love having this connection with you, the good people who watch. I've learned who you are, bumping into you on the sidewalk or waiting at an airport and saying hello. You're like me. I hear it from your kids and grandchildren who say, my dad loves you, or my grandmother loves you, or my husband watched it till the end. Well, after a conversation with MSNBC, I decided tonight will be my last hardball, so let me tell you why. The younger generations out there are ready to take the reins. We see them in politics, in the media, in fighting for their causes. They are improving the workplace. We're talking here about better standards than we grew up with, fair standards. A lot of it has to do with how we talk to each other. Compliments on a woman's appearance that some men, including me, might have once incorrectly thought were okay. We're never okay. Not then and certainly not today. And for making such comments in the past, I'm sorry. I'm very proud of the work I've done here. Long before I went on television, I worked for years in politics, was a newspaper columnist, an author. I'm working on another book. I'll continue to write and talk about politics and cheer on.
Obviously, Me Too didn't mean nothing to Chris Matthews. The sort of leftist pundit, he kept harassing women. If you surf YouTube, you'll find out why. In addition to what he said to Bernie, why he had to retire, because he kept on doing what they all do, Democrats and Republicans. And so you can't trust the media. The media lies. The media has an agenda. Chris Matthews had an agenda. He wanted Biden to win, and he was upset that Biden wasn't winning. And then they had this whole hysteria about Biden. So no one trusts the media. So imagine someone with all that power and someone that has a bully pulpit and that can use that leverage, because whether you believe it or not, whether you want to say it's fair or not, I always look at Trump. So in my family, I can get away with certain things because I'm always joking. I'm always talking about people. I can say some things and people in my family just throw it off their shoulders. Oh, that's just Ty acting a fool and doing stuff like that. And one of my cousins can say the exact same thing and they will be X'd from the family. It will be taken a completely different way. It's because they're used to me joking. So I have a little leverage with that because that's Ty acting a fool, doing what he does. So I have that leverage. They just throw it off their shoulders. Trump has that same leverage with the American people. He does so much crazy and just atrocious, harmful, almost sadistic actions and language that people just throw half of it off their shoulder. That's just Trump. That's just Trump. That's just Trump. So it doesn't matter what Trump has done. Trump can get away with it. He's the new Teflon Don, quote unquote. It falls off of him, and we know that. So you can argue till your face is blue. Oh, well, Trump. It don't matter what Trump did. Biden is the almighty spiritual middle class Joe that don't do nothing wrong. So Biden has the standard. Remember, we were holier than thou. The Democrats are holier than thou, so they have to hold up that standard, not Republicans. Especially not Trump. So Trump can take it all the way down to the dirt. Biden fuck around, break his hip if he bend down and try to touch the ground. What you mean? So that's going to be a heavy or a large wall to climb. A hard wall to penetrate. The control of the media, because it's not even about truth. It's about perception. Remember to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. It's about perception. And if you want to fool yourself to think it's about anything else, then you'll be fooling yourself all the way into November. And then you're going to wake up again wondering what the hell is going on with this country. Y'all put yourselves in this position to have a candidate there that wasn't vetted, that the majority of people, when I went to Michigan, the majority of people that voted for him didn't know that he lied. They was offended by him lying about marching in civil rights and about being arrested with Nelson Mandela. Do you not think that Trump ain't going to ponder that? He ain't going to parlay that? You don't think he's going to parlay that? Black people, look what he's doing. He don't care about y'all. He just wants your vote. That's why he was lying then. He's lying now. It's going to be some people that's voting, that's going to listen, that's going to hear that, that's going to be offended by that. And this is who y'all push forward. None of that mattered. Only thing that mattered was getting Bernie out. He's out. Y'all got it. Now y'all got to live with it. It's a hard pill to swallow, and you don't see that pill yet. But if Trump continues to put that propaganda, put those videos up as if he's doing a good job during this pandemic is going to be at least 60% of the vote. We know people die. People can swallow some people dying. Maybe not. Oh! Shit. My cat just did his trip. What are you doing, man? What are you doing? I'm sorry. He just knocked over everything. He's a special one. He's a little kid, though. He's only, he's like 2. You don't know no better. This is what I use. He's scared of this for some reason. Just a spray bottle with water in it, and it'll scream. But, Jesus Christ, he knocked over the light. But anyway, this is what you got to deal with. This is what you're dealing with now. It's yours. You got it. It's yours. It's yours. Democratic Party, this is yours. This is your baby. take care of it and deal with it. I want to see how you deal with it. You better stop it. Don't come over here and try to cuddle up on me, punk. What you want? See, he always do this punk shit. He'll do something bad and then he'll come over here and just say, look at him. See, now we about to get off because you tripping. So, but anyway, if the Republicans think that they're going to be able to get away with something, hold on. Breeze into this because people hate Trump. When people get used to stuff, people get used to it. If Trump can politicize and then put out propaganda to say, no, I did the right thing, and he's the one that's getting the majority. Remember, he really won because people, MSNBC, CNN, Fox News, was just sitting with a camera on his platform waiting for him to show up to some rally. If he can parlay all this and get all this media coverage to go against an article like the New York Times that says he didn't act in time, it says, yes, we did. And then he got sound clips of governors saying, yes, he did do good. If he can do that and continue to do that, he's gonna win. For real. Ain't that right? You little bad so-and-so. So we about to go. Y'all remember, like, follow, share, hit the subscribe button. What you gonna say? Say something. Say. What's up? You know I'm upset with you. All right, y'all. Keep it real out there. You like that last video? Follow us on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where the progressives have a voice. And remember, share this, like it, subscribe to the channel so we can grow. The Section Independent. That part.